Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fade, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Once again, another 5 beats, another 5 reviews. And before I get into that, we just had a really good Warzone beat battle. So that was really dope. And, there's always dope beats that are submitted and all that. But this time, I mean, it was like every round. Pretty much all the beats. Everything was just on point. It was just really, really dope. Plus now we got the Beat This competition coming up this week, just in a few days. So make sure you get in on that. And if you're not able to compete, at least you can place your votes and all that good stuff. So show your support. Make sure you vote. All right. So let's get into it. First up, we got Arvin Armani with Tehran. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Arvin Armani with Tehran. All right, so for this one, what I like is you have a good structure on the beat. Okay, you got your verse, your hook, and that's important, because you don't want to just have a beat that's all just a loop over and over or whatever. So in your case, it's good what you did and everything. The piano sounded really, really good. When you brought in the synth stuff, it's good. It's just that, the thing with synths is that it's hard to really get something good sometimes, when I use synths, I tend not to use the default ones. Let's say, for example, you open up a plugin and you have a synth sound you want to use, use that, but I always try to tweak it somehow, or tweak the parameters of the VST, or I'll add my own effects later on or something, because usually the ones they give you, it's not really meant for hip-hop and all that. So the one you have, it's on the cheesy side a bit, so I just be careful with that. You could definitely keep what you have, but just add some effects or something, just to give it a different sound, it could be a phase or whatever, just something, or just find something totally different, whatever, different type of synth or whatever. But like I said, the piano's really good. The main thing though was actually there's two things. It was the drums. Okay, the drums are okay, but they just need more life to them. So I understand with this style of beat, there's a type of drum track you're gonna make and all that stuff. That's good. So you can keep the drums the way you have them and all that. But I noticed that you tried to do the kick rolls. So that's okay, but the way that you did them, wasn't proper the way they were executed. So try to just fix that. Try to get the rolls. I don't know what program you're using or whatever, so just try to get it down right, the rolls. Because if you did the rolls properly, it would sound really good. But then, that would give it some sort of change up for the drum track. Because otherwise, it's just a regular kick, snare, hat cymbal track. So it's a little on the dull side, so just spice it up a bit. And the bass, that was the main thing I noticed about this whole beat, is that the bass, it sounds okay. It's just that it just needs variety, because it sounds like you're just hitting the same bass note all the way through, and I did that when I first started out, when I didn't know what to do, so I'm just hitting the same bass. Actually, I was just holding down the bass key and just playing that all the way through my loop or whatever. So just have a better bass line. If you had, for example, let's say let's say you didn't listen to anything I just said, and you just kept the beat the way it is, and you changed the bass line, you made it like into some kind of like more like a funkier bass line, something more active, that would change the whole dynamic of the beat. So the bass line is very important. Make sure you try to get some other notes in there, not just that same bass note, and that'll make a big difference on your beat. So give that a shot. All right, so next up we got Chef Jaha with Visionary. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Chef Jaha with Visionary. All right, so for this one, I was surprised when you had like halfway through you brought in the change up. You reversed the piano, and then you had the different drum track. Keep that. Keep that drum track for sure, because the other one was okay, but when you brought in this other one, it sounded dirtier. It had more life to it. So I would go with that drum track. I wouldn't even use the first one then, because the second one to me sounded so much better. So I would use that drum track all the way through. The problem though is the piano, because the piano, it's just a short little piano loop that you have. Now it sounds like a sample that you're using. I could be wrong, but because it sounds different than the other music in the beat. So for example, your first drum track that you have, the first drum sounds, they sound clean, everything. The piano, it sounds dirty like a sample. So that's why when you brought in those dirty drums, it matched that piano more. And you reverse the piano, so that they give it a little bit of a better dynamic there. But the thing with the pianos, even when you reverse it, it's the same thing over and over. So what I tend to do when I have a short little sample like that is I use it, but I definitely add something else to it. Because when you have a short little sample, short little, couple notes like that, it's okay, but it gets very repetitive very quickly. So you could definitely keep that as long as you have something on top. So for example, if you add another instrument on top, or if you just keep it as it is and you have some rapper on top of this, then it's okay to have just a simple beat. You think back to these old school hip hop beats, and a lot of these were like 1 or 2 bar loops. So it worked, but that's because you had some rapping on top. So you could definitely do that, but I would just add some other instrument on top, and because you don't, unless you're shopping this for a rapper or something like that. But definitely another instrument couldn't, it couldn't hurt. So give it a shot. But yeah, definitely the drums, I would keep that second part. That second part was dope. So I would keep that nice and dirty. All right, so next up we got Jody Curtis with "I'm So NFL." Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Jody Curtis with "I'm So NFL." All right, so this beat, I never thought I'd, hear somebody sample the Monday Night Football theme, but whatever. Here we go. So, it's a nice flip. I like how you did it. It's very hype beat, hype drums and everything. Of course, when you have those horns come in, that's really dope. It makes it even hyper and all that. But I think the only thing was that the low end, the low end's just too heavy for me because it sounds like you have an 808 there, but it just sounds like it's just pulsating in my ear, so it's like, it's good. It's just that it's just too heavy on that. I think if it was a better mix, where you had it, the low end was mixed better or whatever, it would sound a lot better. So, definitely do something with that because I'm thinking to myself, I'd like to actually hear this without an 808 and just actually have an actual bass line. You know what I mean? So try that with just a bass line to go with this. Because everything else is like, don't forget when you're sampling, right? I mean, you're sampling something that's already, mixed. It's already got its low end and everything. So if you're going to sample, you could definitely, I'm assuming you put some kind of EQ on the main sample that you used, so just be careful of that. You got to EQ that somewhat so you have more of the highs for just a sample. That way it clears out the low end for you so you can make your own bass line. So just think about that. But for what you have, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's hard to tell, right? But maybe that's what it is. Maybe your sample is still heavy on the bottom end, and that's what's clogging up the bottom that you're trying to make. So I don't know. But nonetheless, I definitely think that you just need to tone down the low end a bit and all that stuff. But other than that, it's a really dope beat. I like it. There were a couple of parts where you're looping. Your loop, it sounds like it kind of cuts, So like I hear a little bit of a clip. Like it's the end of the beginning of the sample or whatever. So just check that because I noticed that a few times, So But other than that, though, it's a dope beat. But I never thought I'd hear that till the NFL. All right, so next up we got Oscillation with Onward. Let's check it out.
Children, you mustn't be afraid. A startling discovery is made. People aboard. Surrender or die.
All right. Okay, so that was Oscillation with Onward. Now, this one's interesting because, first of all, I didn't know what to expect with the intro or whatever, but when you finally start bringing in the music, I'm assuming it's from a movie, like an old movie. I don't know. But that's what it sounds like, and I was like, oh, it sounds like some old school shit that you're flipping here or whatever. And the way it sounds, okay, that music, it's really, really good. And I was just like, this is going to be a really dope beat. But when you brought in the drums, it just didn't match. That's what just really annoyed me because the drums themselves, they sound good. Like you have them in stereo. I like what you're doing with it, okay, the way you have the percussion and everything. But the thing is that it just doesn't match the sample to me. Because let's say, for example, you take out those drums and you take out your bass and all that, and then you just have that sample, and then you all of a sudden you put in let's say some famous breakbeat, okay, like impeach the president or something like that, whatever. You put that in, I mean, it's gonna make it sound so much hyper, right? When you bring that in, or like Funky Drummer, for example, you put that in with that sample you have. I mean, just try it, really try it, and then you're gonna see. I mean, it's gonna be so different. Because like I said, the drums you have, they're good. I just don't think they match with this, because the sample sounds like something that's going to be hype, but it's not because of the way the drums are carrying the track. So definitely take out those drums and try something else. I'm not saying use a breakbeat. I mean, you can, but just try to make something that's as hype or whatever. I mean, one trick I like to do sometimes is, if you're looking for some hype drums, you make your drum track like a very simple drum track, like just a kick, snare, hat, whatever. And then you add in a breakbeat on top of that, or like it's in the background, so just complementing your drum track, but nonetheless it's there, you can hear it, So or you just try to emulate a famous breakbeat and try to make it like that. It's kind of difficult, but try. You can try something like that. But anyway, it's too bad because I like what you did. I like what you did with that sound, like the way you flipped it and everything. But just the way it sounds, I was like, oh, this is gonna be hype, man. But I don't know, man. And the other thing too is the 808 is very, very heavy. It's all the way through. So yeah, you got to be careful of that. I would take that out. Like I said, to me, I would just rework the drums and the bass really, because I think it has like a lot of potential. I think it would just be a lot better if you had a different drum track in there or a breakbeat or whatever. So, but give it a shot, man. Give it a shot. All right. So next up, we got the last beat. It's Paris with "Made It." Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Paris Made It. All right, so for this one, here's the thing: you have the piano that's looping, and then the lead synth. Okay, and they go well together. It's good for this type of beat. But the thing is, I would definitely take out the lead synth. Like use that only for like the hook, let's say, because it gets repetitive, it gets kind of annoying, right? So the piano for sure you could definitely keep all the way through, but the synth, yeah, definitely take it out for most of the beat, because it does get very, very repetitive. If you have somebody rapping over this, it's people won't really notice it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like it, whatever, but I just think it's kind of repetitive, very, very repetitive. So but the piano, fine. Now for the drums are fine, although the kick thumps a little too hard, for my liking, because I got headphones on, I'm listening to this, and it's really thumping, like it's like one of those like heartbeat kicks, you know what I mean? So just tone that down a bit. And then the bass line's super heavy, so just be careful of that, because it's, everything's going to the red here on my meter. So just be careful. I know I preach that all the time, but I mean, people are still doing it. Like bass lines, they're tricky, but they're very, very essential to hip hop beats. So make sure your bass line's in check. Compression's your best friend in that case. Give that a shot. But yeah, besides that, I mean, it's a nice beat that you put together. It's just that, because you have that synth going, the doot 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 doot. It's just like, come on, man. After a while, you gotta tone it down. You gotta cut it out, change it up, or something. So yeah, just a little change up will make a big difference. But yeah. All right, so okay, that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fate. This is Attacking the Beats. Keep sending your beats in. I keep reviewing them, and the winner is my favorite beat is the winner is, drum roll please, Jody Curtis with I'm So NFL. Let's check it out.